Hello everybody, excited utterance here. My name's Chille and I'm trying something a bit different today. I'm probably going to boomer it all over the place because I'm used to having everything all set up with like graphics and script and all that kind of stuff ready, and not today. Not today. Today I'm flying by the seat of my pants. Either I go completely off script and I just sit here and chitty chat, or I have it all just like planned out, boom, 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 boom. And today I'm going halfway in between. So today I am just like, I'm in no man's land. I'm halfway between. I'm just like, I have like topics and I have links and stuff, and I want to talk about things, but I'm doing it really, really differently. So let's see how I go. I could boomer all over the place and this could be a giant mess, but I have to start somewhere. So thank you everyone for giving me a shot and just being really patient with me today. Let's get that out of the way. Okay. Hella Unplugged, online read. Yeah, giving it a shot. I feel like I've got to do this sometime. I have to grow up as a streamer. It's time for me to grow up as a streamer. So I feel like this is what the big boys do. I've got to do it. So I'm trying. Okay, do it. Boomer stuff. Hey, Brad, how are you? Good to see you. You do you, girl. Hey, Gabriel. How are you? It's great to have you all here. Hey, Pudding Way. Not early and gay. I was just teensy a little bit late in the end, but that was just because Dali was being a little grumble bum. He's like, oh, let's go late. We weren't late. I don't know what you're thinking. Jesus Christ, you're on the West Coast too. Now, it's called future streaming because if you're sick of today in your time, well, you can just flip to tomorrow because no matter what, I'm ahead of you. Pretty much. I'm ahead of all of you. Yeah, so right now it is 8:34 a.m. Thursday, the 18th of April. So beat that. Is Thursday morning. But that doesn't mean I know much more than you. I might. I'm actually, because it's my first time doing this, I've been saving up some stuff from the last few days. So I'm kind of not ahead of all of you right now. And I actually wanted to do this a few days ago, but then a few things came up, including Ty's hearing yesterday, and that was good to see Ty and Lauren. And we wanted to do the Hannah Gutierrez read sentencing. That was kind of, I shouldn't say it's hilarious because there were lots of, victims there that were very sad. So we did that. So I kind of held some things over. So it's not really news, but it will be for some of you because if you're not living in Australia, you will have missed a lot of the crazy things that have been happening over on my side of the world, which may interest you. In fact, yeah, they probably will if you've not heard about any of this stuff for the first time. Hello, Susan Stevenson. It's a good time. Good to see you. Haven't seen you for a couple of days. Great to see you. Welcome back. Hella is in the future. Quick, tell me some stock prices. Yeah, sure. 41 point something. That help? I have to get my almanac out. Actually, that's sports. That's sports results, isn't it? Actually, do you like my little DeLorean? My DeLorean it's actually a Tory. It's a Tirana. That's what we call them. They're a classic car, late 70s, early 80s, and it's a yellow Tory, and it's got its wings up like a DeLorean. Yeah, Australian car. Very cool. Very cool. You'll see it on my thumbnail. My brother actually had a DeLorean. And very, very difficult to get in Australia. It had to be imported, and it had to be changed from left-hand drive to right-hand drive for Australia as well. The thing drove like crap. It drove like crap, and he got the license plate changed to 88 mph. Now that's dorky. He doesn't have it anymore. So that was a long, long time ago. Alrighty. Okay, let's get into it. So I want to tell you the topics that we're going to be covering today. So I'm going to be telling you a few things that have been happening in Oz. Welcome to Conspiracy as well. Conspiracy, hello, where are you? Hey, greetings all. Okay, one of the topics we're going to be covering today, just briefly, is Conspiracy emailed me and messaged me and told me about there's a fella in Australia who he's pretending to be like Chille de Castro. This is funny. He's pretending to be like Chille de Castro, and he's doing the whole First Amendment auditor thing, right? And he's going around and filming people, and pretending like he's like First Amendment, like, oh, freedom of speech, and I can film anywhere I want, but he's like such a budget, like Temu Chille. And the other thing about him is like he's like quoting US Constitution, and that doesn't apply here, dude. It doesn't apply here. You've got no idea what you're talking about. It's too funny. And okay, and the other thing is, get this, right? He doesn't even put himself on camera or name himself. At least Chille's got the balls to go like, I'm Chille, and actually like film himself. This dude doesn't even film himself. He won't even say his own name. Like, come on, man. Like, just like grow up. Goodness me. And his comment section is filled with like, dude, we don't have a First Amendment here. That's a US law, and you're actually not allowed to film anywhere you like here. Like, if you're in a government building, that's not a public space. So you actually don't own that building. Like, you can't make your own laws up in that building. So no, you're wrong. Like, everything you're saying to those people is wrong. Anyway, we'll get to that later on, but thank you, Conspiracy, for that. In fact, Conspiracy, that led me down a rabbit hole, and there are way more channels like that, and they're just as bad. In fact, there's worse ones. There's much worse ones than that. Much worse ones than that. Is he memeing? What do you mean? Is he making memes? He's not that clever. He's not that clever. Some of the other channels are, though. So the other channels are doing sort of more advanced sort of things, like they're being a little bit more clever. This guy's not being that clever. Anyway, I'll show you him a bit later. Hello, Wendy H. How are you? They can change the driver's side. It's a lot of work. Oh, yeah. But if you're going to spend that much money importing a car, my brother is, he's a medical professional, let's just say. I don't want to dox him, but yeah, he's a medical professional. Yeah, and he likes cars. In the Netherlands, the sub-citizens call themselves autonomous, and we have one, I'm sure you do. Yeah, this has led me down a rabbit hole. Last night, I was like looking at all the channels of all the Australian sub-citizens, and getting really embarrassed and like, okay, I can't share all these with you guys. I don't want these people on my channel. Yeah. Okay. So, if you saw my Twitter this morning, you would have seen that. Oh, Donna. Hi, Donna. Thank you so much. Isn't that sweet of you? Thank you for the super chat. It's lovely to see you here, Donna. $9.99. That's so nice of you. I really appreciate that. I love having you here, Donna. And just thank you. Thank you for supporting the channel. Really appreciate that. And just sweet. And Bobby, hello with your hot dog. I know you struggle to communicate in anything other than hot dogs and tacos. But we love you anyway. It was supposed to say sweet. I read it as sweet. That's okay. I just said sweet anyway, so that's fine. Hail to fellow land navigators. Well, yeah, sure. Bobby has a membership. Bobby does have a membership. He got one the other day. Okay, so if you saw my Twitter this morning, or even if you didn't, or if you're in the Discord the other day, and we were talking about this landmark civil case called Lehrmann versus Network 10, you would be aware of this. So I'm going to share this to screen now. So let me go and show you this. Rapist and a loser. So this man here, would you like that to be you, fellas? Imagine if that were you. And imagine if that were you, yet you had never been found criminally guilty of anything of the sort. So my tweet said something along the lines of, imagine if Johnny Depp had not won his defamation case. Would then it have been possible for newspapers and the like to have published something along the lines of this? Something along the lines of, just put his face up there and gone, an abuser and a loser. And I have someone at the door. Just a moment. Sarah wants to weigh in on this. Hello. Meow, meow. I know. It's shocking, isn't it? It's shocking, I know. Oh, where have you been? Your feet are wet. Oh, gross. Hey, Snuggles. Hello, Snuggles. Hi. You're wondering if there's an update yet? Oh, there's an update, all right. There's more than one update on this one. Okay, so basically what's happened is, and I can read the rest of the front page of this. This is a Herald Sun. Okay, so it says, bombshell defamation case ruling. Judge finds Bruce Lehrmann raped Brittany Higgins in Parliament House with ex-staffer's reputation left in tatters. So there he is walking out of court the other day. That's the Australian Federal Court. There's a picture of Brittany Higgins, the lady who made the accusation. Now, so what happened is, and it's a long story, so I'm not going to make you sit through the whole thing. It was 2019, and this lady here, Brittany Higgins, on the right, she went and made an allegation that he, after a night out drinking with other staffers, and they both worked in Parliament House, so basically it's like our White House, right? And they're just staffers, they're not politicians. They went out drinking, and they on the way back from going out drinking, guys, they caught an Uber home. They split an Uber home, and he decided, allegedly, that he needed to get his keys. He left his keys, his staff pass to Parliament House in his office. and they needed to stop by Parliament House on the way back. And the best way for him to get his keys so he could get back into the office on Monday would be to go back via Parliament House and get them. And that's the idea. Apparently, they're also going to drink some whiskey. And so, in their drunken haze, they decided to do that. They got in at 2 a.m. You can see them going through the security cameras. They walk in. They're both kind of drunk, especially her. Security cameras see them walking through into their boss, the minister's suite. That's the last we see of them. The next that happens is that he is seen walking out, and later she is found naked, and that's on the minister's couch. Now, a few years pass, and a very, very tawdry salacious, let's say, TV interview is published, broadcast, and she doesn't name him in the TV interview. However, it's very obvious, especially to everyone in their circles, who she's talking about. And what happens basically is that he's already lost his job for security reasons. She's moved on to a different department. And within about a month, bloggers and things uncover his name. And then later he's criminally charged. Aussie Overlords mentioned him before. I've actually got a little playlist on this. I tried to cover the defamation trial. Unfortunately, we weren't allowed to live stream it for reasons. But it was available to watch. It's just that they weren't allowed any live streaming, and they did delete the streams at the end of each day. Anyway, he was criminally charged. There was a trial, but what happened was there was some juror misconduct, and there was a mistrial. She, at the end of the trial, she was mentally unwell, and the prosecution decided to throw out the case and not retry him for her good. They decided that she was not able to withstand another trial. And there were some other factors as well. There was actually an inquiry into the prosecution of the case. Why it was prosecuted in the first place. All sorts of reasons, all sorts of drama. But let's say he wasn't prosecuted again. So no conviction for this man, and therefore in the eyes of the public, let's just say, in the eyes of the public, he's never been vindicated and he's never been found guilty. So he went along and sued the network that allowed her to get up and say that he did this. And he sued them for defamation. And what's happened is, in a ruling by a federal court judge, because it was a bench trial, as far as we're concerned, I'll speak in US language, bench trial judge decided the outcome. He decided that on the balance of probabilities, now it's a balance of probabilities, there's no jury, and it's a civil trial, so that's not criminal standard, that it more than likely happened. So therefore, what does that mean, everybody? That means that he can be called a rapist without being found criminally. He's not criminally a rapist. It's a de facto criminal trial, really, in the Australian public. Now, it's interesting. I've already had a response to my tweet this morning, of course, because it's a huge thing as far as Australia is concerned. I tweeted this morning. Let's see. Let's go back. Let's have a look at mine. So this morning I tweeted, I don't want to treat that. Okay, so if Johnny Depp hadn't won his defamation suit, oops. If Johnny Depp hadn't won his defamation suit, would headlines like this have followed? This week in my country, a landmark civil ruling has led to a man with no criminal record running to police for refuge. And someone has responded already. Where is it? There we go. He only has no criminal record because of juror misconduct. Bring on the Toowoomba rape hearing. He's lucky the police weren't chasing him. Right, so, guys, in the last 8 months or so, I think it was actually a little bit less than that. It was around December, maybe November. A lady in Toowoomba came forth to police and said that she had hooked up with Bruce Lehrmann, and he had done what's called stealthing, right? So stealthing is when you have sex with somebody and the man, not accidentally, on purpose, takes off the condom. And that's illegal. That's considered, I think, rape. Pretty sure that's considered rape. That was in my state, in Queensland. So Toowoomba is in Queensland. It's about 3 hours from me. And so he's now facing criminal charges for that. That's coming up in June. So people, as soon as that came out, people were like, oh, of course, because he's a rapist. Right? So, and people who are sort of more on his side are all like, well, she just like wants to cash in on all of this stuff. She's making it up. I have no opinion on it. I really don't. Okay, so I'll take some comments in a minute. Just go back to here. All right. Yeah, whoops. So now I was actually wondering about this, Distant. I was wondering about this. Same thing happened to Trump, except Trump had a little joke. Yeah, when I tweeted this thing about Johnny Depp, it actually occurred to me, wasn't Trump found civilly liable for Eugene? Her name was Eugene, wasn't it? Can't remember her last name. The one back in the 90s in the department store. I don't know, Eugene Carroll. Yeah, didn't that happen? So after that, wasn't it therefore possible for people to just publish that he's a rapist? Tell me, guys. Someone bring me up to speed on that. Eugene Carroll, yeah. I'd like to know. Because he clearly, like, I don't think a jury could find him guilty on beyond reasonable doubt. But it's on the balance of probabilities. And you guys who watch trials with us, like, and we watch trials together, like you don't have to be a lawyer to understand, after watching them for a little while, the difference between 51 to 49% balance of probability. So it more than likely happened. And that's what the judge in this case decided, that it more than likely happened. And I respect this judge. If anyone who watched this and even just watched his ruling, right, he went through this with a fine tooth comb. And I respect that he came to this decision. It was 51 to 49% that it more than likely happened. Right, cool. Okay. It's unfortunate though that it's such a contentious one, this one, and that his reputation is ruined nationwide. It's so big. I get it though. I get why he's come to this decision. That said though, unfortunately, people don't get it, that it's 51 to 49 rather than beyond reasonable doubt. People just don't get it. Hey, John H 2004. Good to see you. So not rape. I am Dave. What are we referring to? Sorry. So I'll finish with the Donald Trump thing. You would think that he's Donald Trump. It's just insanity over here. Don't even get me started. Are you over here, Gabriel? Just interested. You haven't seen any publications do it, but lots of people have said it. Okay, that's really interesting. Online rate. I'm just wondering whether anyone has stated anything to anything like what we just saw with Bruce Lehrmann here in Australia, like actually just put Donald Trump's face up on a newspaper and gone, he's a rapist, because a judge, a ruling, or even a jury has come along and said that that's the case. I mean, we've got like a very learned judge, of the federal court justice has come along and made this ruling. It's in black and white now. It's of a legal standard, and it's in writing. Anyone can cite it, and it says that Lehrmann raped Higgins. It says it. Anyone can bring it up, and now I'll just backtrack a little bit. The case was Lehrmann versus Network 10. So it was against a broadcaster. It was against the media. And so now the media can say it. They could just say it. I was listening to the judge's ruling, and I agree the judge seemed totally fair. He addressed all sorts of angles. Yes, distant. I know. I saw that you were watching the ruling. The ruling was incredible. He went into so much detail, and it was a 2.5-hour ruling, and that was just a summary. It's a 300 and something page ruling. It's available to look at if anyone is interested. I was blanking on the wording. Distant. Was it Good, Logic, or Sean who kept up to date on it? Oh, you mean the E. Jean Carroll one? Yeah. Okay. So anyway, let's have a bit of a look at this. So Bruce Lehrmann, these are the words of Justice Lee. Bruce Lehrmann was hell-bent on having sex with Brittany Higgins and raped her in Parliament House. Defamation judge finds. Let's have a little bit of a look at this video, shall we? You can't hear it at all? Can you not hear it all, or is it just low? Not at all. Really? I don't know why that would be. Boo. You're here and you have to run? Well, I didn't do anything to mute it. Let me try that again. Hang on. Hang on. Well, I told you I might boom it today, didn't I? I said I might boom it. Share audio? Of course I'm sharing audio. I know how to share audio. Let me try it again. Stop sharing. Present. Share screen. Also share the audio. Yes, sharing audio. Go. You can't hear that? Can't hear that? No? You can barely hear it is different to not being able to hear it. You can't hear it at all? You can barely hear. Okay, forget it. Don't worry. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's only a little video. Okay, no problem. All right, we'll keep going. Yeah, sometimes when they embed the video into the things, it's like it's not like YouTube where you can just boost it up. You can't do anything about it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We can live without it. It's just very faint. See, very faint means I am sharing the audio. I just can't boost it for you. So thank you, John, for making me aware of that. Okay. All right. Doesn't matter. I can just read you the thing. I told you today might be boomer day. Might be boomer day. All righty. So I'm going to zoom it up so at least you can read with me. Ooh. Bruce Lehrmann has lost his defamation case against Network 10 and Lisa Wilkinson, bringing to an end a sprawling legal saga which has gripped the nation. In a live oral summary that took 2.5 hours, Justice Michael Lee said the former Liberal staffer was not defamed by Wilkinson and 10 when the project broadcast an interview with Brittany Higgins on Monday, 15th of February 2021. God damn, this is how long it's been going on. In which she alleged she was raped in Parliament House. He found that on the balance of probabilities, Lehrmann raped Higgins on the minister's couch in Parliament House in 2019. In summary, this is what he said. In summary, I consider it more likely than not in those early hours after a long night of conviviality. And by the way, he had the best vocabulary ever. And drinking, and having successfully brought Miss Higgins back to a secluded place, Mr. Lehrmann was hell-bent on having sex with a woman he found attractive and knew was inebriated, Lee said. He did not care one way or the other whether Miss Higgins understood or agreed to what was going on. Oh, this is the best bit. Lee said of Lehrmann's decision to bring the case against Channel 10 and Wilkinson after his criminal trial was aborted due to juror misconduct. Having escaped the lion's den, Mr. Lehrmann made the mistake of going back for his hat. People have made such a big deal of that bit there. They've made all these memes and stuff of him going back into the lion's den to get his hat. And it really is a really good metaphor. Right? It's a good metaphor, right? So the whole idea of him escaping this lion and getting out of the den and then going, hang on, I forgot my hat. And then he goes, hang on, let's get my hat. And then the lion's like, and rips him to bits. That's pretty much what's happened. It's pretty much what's happened. Abraham Lincoln type hat. Yeah. It's pretty much what's happened. So he's gone, he could have got away with all this, right? And I'm not saying he did it or not because I've got no clue what happened in that room that night, right? I've got no clue what happened in that room that night. But he escaped criminal prosecution. He escaped potentially going to prison for a very long time because of that issue with juror misconduct, and then the prosecution not going back after him, right? So he could have walked away, but instead he decided, you know what? This should never have happened to me, and I'm going to sue for defamation. Now, he has every right to. He has every right to. But unfortunately, there was enough people willing to come forth to back up Miss Higgins' story. And they said that they saw them. They said they saw them pashing. Okay. And people who are not Australians will not know what the word pashing means. Pashing means passionately kissing, right? And it's a very common word here. So common that it was used in a court of law, just thrown around, no need to explain, right? So one of the witnesses came forth and said, yeah, we saw them in the bar earlier pashing, right? So making out, basically. It's not a pleasant way to kiss. It's the gross way, the drunk, gross way, right? So they were pashing, and then they got into the Uber together. Okay, so, and just because they were pashing doesn't mean that she can't take her consent away later. She can, right? So, so they're pashing, and someone saw it, and they came in and testified to it. So that makes it far more likely that something occurred, because he said all along there was never any touching whatsoever. I went nowhere near her. I wasn't even attracted to her. So that didn't count in his favor, because both of them lied. Both of them lied a ton. But having people come forth to back up her side of the story, remember, it's 51-49. It's like the balance of probabilities, like that. Lehrmann denied the rape allegations and pleaded not guilty at his trial in the Australian Capital Territory Supreme Court, which was aborted. Prosecutors did not seek a retrial due to concerns about Higgins' mental health. Yeah. I believe there were other reasons too, but we won't go into that now. Lehrmann and Wilkinson. Wilkinson, it was the lady who published or broadcast, like the reporter who was behind her story that went out on that fateful night in 2021. Sorry, I'll have to go back and check my facts on that. Yeah, she was the one who was so hell-bent on making sure that her story went out and everyone found out about the terrible culture in Parliament House and how this woman was raped in Parliament House, and everyone had to know about this cover-up by the government. And it was very political, by the way. Okay, so she's a reporter with 40 years experience, by the way. Okay, so Lehrmann and Wilkinson were both in court for the decision. Lehrmann sat with his head bowed for most of the proceedings, rarely looking up to where Lee sat, issuing a judgment that was at times scathing of Lehrmann and his truthfulness. To remark that Lehrmann was a poor witness is an exercise in understatement, Lee said in his first minutes of judgment. Both Lehrmann and Wilkinson were in court for most of the 5-week trial, sitting at opposite ends of the courtroom. Not surprised, they're not great friends. Lee was, however, critical of the conduct of Channel 10's The Project team. Now, The Project was the show that Higgins went on to make the allegations. Saying the rape allegations were intertwined with the cover-up, and the Project team had strong indications of the unreliability of their main source, particularly as to how she lost material on her phone, and the selected materials survived. Now, this part, see, whilst Bruce Lehrmann has basically lost his case in that his reputation is in tatters, he hasn't lost it completely. He sued Network 10 for defamation, and Network 10 has had a little slap on the wrist in that they weren't vindicated in reporting this. They also, part of their defense was what's called qualified privilege. So that means that they are allowed to publish something for the community good, and they're allowed to publish it because they believed that they were doing something that, let's say, for the community good. The allegations were not just about rape. They were about a cover-up in Parliament House of this terrible atrocity, and this woman not feeling comfortable to report it, and therefore hush, hush, hush. And she didn't feel like she was going to be okay to keep her job, especially under this government. So it was a conservative government at the time. Her bosses at the time made her feel like and just go on and do her job. Otherwise, it was going to cause all this drama. basically. And I think there was some wording at the time around that it was the safest, Parliament House was the safest place to be raped. That was some wording that was used. Yeah. So Channel 10 were slapped on the wrist for that. They were told that was not part of it. Qualified privilege, the qualified privilege defense, no, that didn't hold up. You didn't check your source accurately. You did not check that there was no cover up. Also, you didn't give Mr. Lehrmann enough notice to come back and give his side of the story. So he also criticized their approach for seeking comment from Lehrmann. Yes, if Network 10 wanted to get in contact with Mr. Lehrmann, there were ways of ensuring that contact could be achieved. He was not living the life of a hermit. Lee said the case functioned as a Rorschach test for some observers. For more than a few, this dispute has become a proxy for broader cultural and political conflicts. He's a very intelligent operator, Lee. In the project interview, Higgins told Wilkinson she was sexually assaulted on a couch in the office of her then boss, former Defence Industry Minister Linda Reynolds, in the early hours of Saturday, 23rd of March 2019. The project did not name Lehrmann as a Liberal staffer at the heart of the allegation, but Lee found he was identifiable in the broadcast. In February 23, after his criminal trial was abandoned, Lehrmann began legal action against Network 10 in the federal court. In the judgment, Lee said 10 and Wilkinson have proved the imputation he raped Higgins was true on the balance of probabilities. So basically, he's lost on the truth defense, but he's won on the grounds of qualified privilege. So they've had to cough up $20,000, which is pretty much nothing to Network 10. I'm going to move on from this, and I'm going to show you something else. After this happened, you can imagine. Hey, Malcolm. And hey, Luna. Good to see you. Basically the second this happened, the public, he walked out of the courtroom, right? And it was like paparazzi, people, I don't know what, but it was like angry mob. It was, and he already was not the most popular guy. You can imagine he's not the most popular guy, okay? But now they got a reason. Now they can go after him big time. So Bruce Lehrmann's mad dash out of Sydney just moments after he was branded a rapist. Watch this. Look at this, right? God. And the unlikely ally he turned to for help. Wow. So Bruce Lehrmann made a frantic dash up a highway and out of Sydney in the moments after he was branded a rapist by a federal court judge seeking refuge from media inside a police station. Wow. Okay, so, and I tell you what, guys, people are where are we? Hang on. On the Twitters and stuff, they're all like, oh, wow, I wish Brittany and all rape survivors could just go to a police station and be given refuge like that. Well, yeah, sure. Guys, he's still not been found he's still not got any criminal record. We don't know. So just, it's not apples for apples. I don't like this. There's so much anger. There's just so much anger. don't like this. All right. So Lehrmann found out he lost his lengthy defamation case against Network 10 and Lisa Wilkinson on Monday morning when Justice Michael Lee handed down his 324-page judgment. The judge found, on balance of probabilities, that Lehrmann did rape Brittany Higgins inside Parliament House in the early hours of March 23, 2019. The findings were unexpected blow for Lehrmann, who brought the legal action on himself, and he apparently couldn't wait to get out of court on Monday. Well, wouldn't you? Together with his lawyers, he charged the court dodging television cameras and reporters with microphones and refusing to answer questions like, how humiliating is this for you? And was it worth it? Would you answer that? Come on. He was chased across the road on foot and into his lawyer's office before he left the office and jumped into a borrowed Mazda CX-9 and drove to the Central Coast. Yeah, exactly. Old line rate. One freelance photographer told Daily Mail Australia that Lehrmann knew he was being followed and drove around Lane Cove and M1 motorway, trying unsuccessfully to lose the cameras. Wow, look, someone's actually managed to get a photo of him driving away. The judgment doesn't even just say, like, it says he probably did it, and then, but if you actually look at the written ruling, then okay, it says he probably did it, and then it says Lehrmann raped Higgins. Someone screenshot just that little piece of it and put it all over Twitter. The finding states, so on the balance of probabilities, Lehrmann raped Higgins. And so they've just screenshot that little bit. Lehrmann sought refuge inside Gosford Police Station. Following a pursuit around Sydney's lower North Shore, the pair wound up travelling along North Connex before a woman in a white utility appeared to try to block the photographer's view. According to the freelancer, the aim was to block his view so he couldn't see Lehrmann exit the highway, but that didn't work either. Eventually, he was tailed all the way to Avoca, which is 100 kilometres north of Sydney. He came up to North Avoca, past a cop shop, then called out to some cops who were walking by and drove another lap around, the photographer said. He went up the road and around a cul-de-sac, then drove past the cop shop again, and then carried on like that. Lehrmann then pulled up to a police officer for help before the photographer shouted out to his car window, "Where news?" And that's Bruce Lehrmann. He said, the cop looked at me and looked at him and he didn't care. Lehrmann then abandoned the car in a no stopping zone outside Gosford Police Station and bolted inside before officers drove him to an undisclosed location for his own safety. Wow. Oh, I wonder whether you guys will be able to hear this. Tell me if you can hear this.
Mr. Lehrmann raped Miss Higgins.
Can you hear that?
I hasten to stress this is a finding on the balance of probabilities. This finding should not be misconstrued or mischaracterised as a finding that I can exclude all reasonable hypotheses consistent with innocence. As I've explained, there's a substantive difference between the criminal standard of proof and the civil standard of proof, and as a tribunal of fact, I have only to be reasonably satisfied that Mr. Lehrmann has acted as I have found, and I am not obliged to reach that degree of certainty necessary to support conviction on a criminal charge. In my reasons, I make a very large number of findings concerning relevant post-incident conduct, which are relevant to the conduct of the credit of Ms. Higgins and also in some respects to other aspects of the case, but I do not propose to recount them here.
Most of the evidence and most of the proofs are going to be on the part of the defendants, who are going to have to establish that what they broadcast, effectively that Bruce Lehrmann was a rapist, was true.
So is this in effect shaping up to be almost a de facto rape trial?
Oh, you think?
De facto's right. It's not a criminal trial, so jail's not at stake, but there are a lot of reputations and a lot of money at stake.
Okay, so that was beforehand.
And most.
All right, so I'm glad you could hear that. So next thing's next, right? Yeah, no one bothered to listen to this part, Your Honour. Okay, next thing's next. Now, when these things happen, there's always fallout, right? So whenever there's a ruling like this, there's always fallout, and sometimes there ends up being some nice fallout. And no one's really talked about this much, but there was somebody in this whole saga who was really, really poorly done by. And actually, this person or persons, we'll talk about one of these people, is going to end up, I think, actually doing okay out of this. And I'm going to tell you about her in a minute. But first, I'm going to put you across a little urban legend in Australia. If you haven't heard of this man, his name is Stephen Bradbury. Now, in Australia, we have this term called doing a Bradbury. Now, Stephen Bradbury, he won our very first, and I think still only, I'm not sure, gold medal in the Winter Olympics in speed skating. And he won it. I'll show you. I'll actually show you what happened, Show you what happened. So there's a reason why we have this term doing a Bradbury. And we're very proud of Stephen Bradbury, by the way. I'll show you this. Okay. So I'll share this tab. Go. And he's the last man standing, basically.
Last man standing is what I was dubbed by the world's media after that race. Exactly how did that happen? I trained for 12 years, competed for Australia in 4 Winter Olympic Games. The main reason that I was there in Salt Lake City was to put some demons to rest. In Canada in 1994, I was impaled on the back of a rival skate, got my leg cut open, almost lost my life. 18 months before winning that gold medal, I had a crash in training, went headfirst into the barrier and broke my neck. I'd skated at 3 Winter Olympics and I hadn't done my best at any of them, and I just wanted to skate my best. In Salt Lake City, I did that in the quarterfinals. I beat a 4-time world champion, made it through to the semis. I was pretty realistic about it and decided I don't think I'm as good as these other guys. And my best chance to get through to the final was to get on the ice in the semi and stay out the way. Figured there's no reason I should change my tactics for the final. Bring this on.
Watch this, watch this.
Heading into the last turn, I see the Chinese guy fall.
Watch.
Set up my final turn out of the corner of my eye. I see the other 3.
Look, look, look.
And from that moment, I knew that I didn't have to skate anymore. All I had to do was glide across the
Go!
I wasn't sure if I should put my arms up in the air in celebration or go and hide in the corner. Had no idea what the appropriate response was at that moment. I suppose in some people's mind, the question will always remain, did I win Olympic gold by accident? Half a dozen blokes had just fallen over and they wanted me to go up there and take a gold medal for it. I wasn't sure if I deserved to. I only had a few minutes to think about it, but during that few minutes I decided, yeah, I'm going out there on the podium and I'm taking that gold medal, but I'm not taking it for the 90 seconds of that race. I'm going to take it for the 12 years in the lead up to that 90 seconds.
Dude. Yeah. Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute. But wow. That's Stephen Bradbury, right? And so in Australia, we have this term doing a Bradbury, right? And it means coming in from behind and being the last man standing, right? And taking out gold. Okay. So I got the gold. I don't care. And he will work for it, right? He went through hell to get it. And yeah, some people will say, well, you know, he only got it because other people fell down. But actually, no, he worked his ass off for it and he got there, and doesn't matter. Like, he won it fair and square. He won it fair and square. And we love him. He's a national hero. And yeah, our first ever Winter Olympic gold. And yeah, it just is, it gives us goosebumps every time we watch that. Wow. Yeah, he's really a national hero. Yeah, part of my face is fun. Any Aussie watching that just goes, like, we all light up watching that. And he's such a great guy. Anyway, falling is part of the sport. Therefore, he did win it just fine. And he watched what happened, and it was tactical. He explained exactly what he did in that moment. But yeah, I mean, we aren't great at winter sports. we go to the Winter Olympics not expecting to win. We don't really have much winter sports here. But winning is winning, exactly. All right, so what I wanted to show you is that there's someone in the Lehrmann case who's kind of doing a bit of a rabbery right now, and she's been really hard done by in this whole thing, and that is the boss of both Lehrmann and Higgins, and her name is Linda Reynolds, and she was the defense minister at the time, so she was both of their bosses, and it was her office, her couch, that allegedly the act happened on, right? So it was in her suite, Miss Linda Reynolds' suite, that they allegedly went into, and the act apparently happened. And this is her there on the right. And what happened was, she was called out as being this monster of a boss who tried to cover up this sexual assault, that she tried to make out like that Higgins would lose her job, that she just needed to hush up, and then as a result, it became obviously a political football. The other side of politics would throw barbs at her for like enabling misogyny, etc. And it caused her incredible pain. She went through just mental anguish over it, and she was in social media obviously pulled her to pieces. So I'll just read you a little bit of this. So I'll just zoom it up a little bit so you can see it. So former Coalition Minister Linda Reynolds has broken her silence following Bruce Lehrmann's defamation defeat, vowing to proceed with her own civil case against Brittany Higgins. So that's the woman in question, and her partner, David Shiraz. Now, that's her boyfriend, David Shiraz, there. While declaring accusations of a political cover-up have now been dispelled. There you go. Hours after opposition leader Peter Dutton said his Liberal colleague had been vindicated by Federal Court Justice Michael Lee's findings into the sordid affair, the West Australian senator became the first MP embroiled in the saga to speak out. Dutton also suggested Higgins and Shiraz should apologise to her. See, this Brittany Higgins and her boyfriend, David Shiraz, they have both been after this lady, Defence Minister Reynolds, right from the beginning. And her boyfriend, he really has played a part in all this, yet he didn't testify in the defamation case. He hasn't, he's really been kind of the elephant in the room the whole time, yet he's been encouraging of Higgins to get involved in all of this media activity right from the start. Okay, so for 3 years, I've enjoyed intense public scrutiny, vilification, vile trolling, and have been demonized as the villain in a story of a political cover-up I have always known to be untrue, Reynolds said. She said both her and her former chief of staff, Fiona Brown, had lost their careers, had our reputations destroyed, and have had our health seriously, irreparably compromised. She's referring to Fiona Brown now, and I can see that Fiona Brown, yes, her colleague and the chief of staff who was also implicated, she'll be next. She'll bring proceedings as well. She'll be the other Stephen Bradbury to come out of this. Reynolds, the former boss of Lehrmann, and his accuser Higgins had faced years of criticism over handling of Higgins' rape allegations, which was proven true on the balance of probabilities in federal court judge Michael Lee's verdict on Monday. While not central to the case, the judge said Higgins and Shiraz, from the first moment, have pushed a narrative of a political cover-up to journalists in 2021, which she found no evidence for. Reynolds said it would be an understatement to say she was pleased with Lee's findings, calling it the cover-up that never was. Isn't that interesting, guys? So whilst poor Mr. Lehrmann is running away from the media into the arms of the Gosford police station, and his reputation is in tatters. Yep, okay. So he's come out of this, unfortunately, gone back into the lion's den to get his hat, and he's been ripped to shreds. There is one part of the story that can leave us with a little bit of a smile, and that is that this lady and her colleague Fiona Brown now seem to have quite a good case to sue this lady here. Cool, huh? Yes, half Irish. She absolutely got dragged through the mud. I saw her testimony. She had to testify at the civil proceeding, and she was just shaking the entire time. She was shaking. She was just, you could see the trauma in her. The last few years for her have just been hell. To be as a woman, to be named as somebody who covered up the trauma of another woman, regardless of whether these allegations were true or not, regardless, to be seen publicly as somebody who just swept them under the rug, ignored them, and just the allegations against her were horrible. She's just a normal lady, and yeah, it was just shocking. Interesting. Guess patience really is the key. Yeah, sometimes karma comes around. Sometimes karma comes around. This won't be the end of it, guys. And you think that this is the end? No. I actually have it. I've had an attorney talk to me just the other day after this. I thought it wasn't possible for Lehrmann to be retried criminally. Apparently it is. Because now there is a persuasive witness. I don't know if that person who was talking to me meant Justice Lee. I don't think so. I think the persuasive witness might be the lady who talked about the pashing. So I don't know. And also because of the fact that Brittany Higgins testified at the defamation hearing, maybe that means she's well enough to testify again in a criminal trial. Maybe he might get tried criminally again for this. We'll see. Because it's not double jeopardy because he wasn't acquitted. So you never know. He may end up in prison for this. Imagine being dragged into this because these two drunk idiots chose to go to her office in the middle of the night. Yeah, exactly. And you know what this really was all about? It was about politics. It was about the fact that she was on one side of politics and the media agency, as in the network, who wanted to publish her story, was on the other side of politics. That's my opinion anyway. I'll say that's my opinion. But I think I have to state that as my opinion. I think it's pretty obvious though. Network 10 is very, let's say, left-leaning, as is the presenter Lisa Wilkinson, and that was a Conservative government at the time. So yeah, that's what happened. Okie dokie. Now, moving on, something that people have been talking about a lot this week and asking about, and actually it was brought to my attention by Dali in chat, because I was on his stream my Sunday morning, and I was like, well, I don't watch Australian news, so I don't know. He's like, what about the stabbing that happened in Bondi? And I'm like, oh, okay, what? But obviously it's been all over our news here. So I'll just touch on it really briefly. Just make sure that you guys can actually hear this though first. I'll just share the tab. So this happened, guys. So we'll just have a little look at it.
Good evening. First tonight, the unfolding rampage at Sydney's Bondi Junction Westfield shopping centre. 6 innocent people are dead, with other shoppers rushed to hospital. All were attacked by a man armed with a knife and on a rampage through the busy centre. Police confirming a brave officer who was on her own confronted the attacker and shot him dead. Damien Ryan begins our coverage.
Westfield Bondi Junction, it's always busy on a Saturday, but mingling in the crowd of shoppers today, a man on a deadly mission. Wearing an Australian Rugby League jersey and wielding a hunting knife, a shopper bravely confronts him before backing away. He was lucky, others weren't.
I came out of the hairdresser and I seen a gentleman chasing the attacker with a knife, and then he was shouting that you've just stabbed my wife, and then I didn't really know what to do because he was literally next to me, and then we all went back into the hairdressing shop where we were, and we all stayed inside, and then the attacker then got up the escalator, and then we didn't see him again.
The man was stalking the floors, one of his victims, a 9-month-old baby, stabbed at least once in the stomach.
This mother starts screaming really, really frantically, running back and forth, like she doesn't know what to do. Then she runs back to the pram, picks up her baby, and then all I see is blood.
It just helped us holding the baby and trying to compress the baby, and same with the mother, trying to compress the blood from stopping and calling an ambulance.
We have a 9-month-old with a decreased GCS. With multiple stab wounds to the abdomen. We're wondering if we can get a medical team to our car, please.
There were many acts of courage. One shopper grabbing a bollard and taking him on.
Well, who are these people running around with bollards? Is it just kids being stupid or something? And then we saw the guy with the knife and we thought, well, you know, are they trying to stop him?
There was a man coming up the escalator, another man at the top of the escalator in front of Woolworths throwing something at him to keep him down. I saw the gentleman fall. And then he's picked himself up and ran up the escalators. When he's turned, I could see he was holding a knife. It was a hunting knife about 30 centimetres long.
Others rushed in to offer first aid to the wounded. Bondi lifeguard Andrew Reid was shopping in Myer when he was told about the stabbing. The store shutters came down, trapping them inside.
I was looking down and there was a lady down on level 4 that I could see that was bleeding out pretty badly, and I was like, and she only had one person with her, and I was like, I've got to go and help.
He convinced an employee to let him out.
I went out and there was 2 people helping her, and there was police everywhere, and it was kind of anarchy. And then I looked down sort of the corridor of Westfield, and there was multiple victims, like sort of 30 metres apart.
The centre was evacuated, but not everyone made it out. So they barricaded themselves anywhere they thought was safe.
That scream was so piercing, I didn't know what to do. And then thankfully my co-worker just pulled me back in, locked all the doors and just chucked us in the storeroom.
Paramedics and an army of police swarmed on the complex. And with so many casualties, the fear was this was not a lone wolf attack. As heavily armed police rallied on the top floor of the complex before entering the building, a policewoman was already inside. On her own, she was guided by shoppers to the man with the knife.
The offender had moved by this stage to level 5. As she continued to walk quickly behind him to catch up with him, he turned, faced her, raised a knife. She discharged a firearm, and that person is now deceased.
The sound of gunfire echoing through the centre, triggering even greater panic.
We're screaming shooter, so I just started running with them.
After police went floor to floor, it was clear there was only one attacker, had caused untold carnage. A shocking death toll which no doubt could have been higher if not for the actions of a police inspector. Damien Ryan, 9 News.
And let's go live to reporter Tiffany Genders, who is at Sydney's Children's Hospital for us tonight. Tiffany, you've received an update.
Michael, the most tragic of updates. We have just received the most devastating news that the 38-year-old mother of the 9-month-old baby that was stabbed has passed away in hospital this evening. That brings the death toll to 6. 6 innocent people killed in this rampage, and the 7th is their attacker who was shot dead by police. Now, the youngest victim that was targeted was just 9 months old, that mother's child. The baby is being treated here at the Sydney Children's Hospital at Randwick, where surgeons and the staff here are working around the clock. We do not have an update on the baby's condition, but that child is one of 8 people being treated at Sydney hospitals this evening, some of them serious, some of them critical. We had been warned that the death toll would rise, and tonight that tragic news that a 38-year-old woman, the mother of the baby stabbed, has passed away in hospital, Michael.
Yeah. Okay. So stop it. Stop it. What's going on? That was weird. Okay. Twitter people, there's like 100 of you. Could you come over? If you're there, if you're real. I don't know. Very strange. My numbers here are showing 118, and there's like 20 or something over on YouTube. Like 5 of you over on somewhere else. I don't know. It's so weird. Anyway, yes, if you're real, Twitter people, like, come over here. Come over here. Yeah, did we travel to Hawaii? No. Yeah, Facebook, that was a Facebook video, and they just like continue over into somewhere else. I don't know. I told you I boomer today, didn't I? I told you I boomer today. Okay. So the Westfield Bondi fatal stabbing. So guys, we don't have this happen very often here. Like, to have like a lot of people die at once is really unusual. YouTube numbers have been off lately. No idea what's happening this week. Yeah, it's odd. Like, it's showing on my StreamYard 119 viewers, but I am streaming to a lot of different places right now. So I'm streaming to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different places right now. So Rumble, X, Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube all at once. So I don't know where all the people are. They could be anywhere. They could be anywhere. Who knows? Yeah. And Sean says the Twitter people aren't real. I don't know. All I know is it's really a pain to chat on there. I don't even get how to chat on there. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm now going to show you what's happened since then. So I like to always look at, and whilst that's all horrible, I always like to look at it from the defendant's point of view. And the man, the dad of the defendant, has come forth. Well, he hasn't come forth. Unfortunately, the media has been hounding him, absolutely hounding him, as that's what happens, right? Yeah, thank you, Benjamin. That's what happens, right? So we'll have a little bit of a look at that. So the defendant's name is Joel Chachi. He's actually deceased, by the way. He was shot by that lone female police officer. Okay, let's have a bit of a look at this. And I should be able to. Oops, hang on a minute.
I made myself a shirt.
No, so this is his dad.
I don't want her.
From family members.
I don't want this woman talking.
And you know,
I made myself a servant to my son when I found out he had a mental illness. I became his servant. I did everything because I love that boy. To you, he's a monster. To me, he was a very sick boy. Believe me, he was a very sick boy.
This is a parent's absolute nightmare when they have a child with mental illness, that something like this would happen. And my heart goes out to the people our son has hurt. If he was in his right mind, he would be absolutely devastated of what he has done. But he obviously was not in his right mind. He somehow had been triggered into a psychosis and he'd lost touch with reality.
So, yep. Hang on, I'm just going to go with this one instead. Oh, hang on. Boomerang, boomerang. Oh, no, it's all right. Sorry to repeat.
Nightmare when they have a child with mental illness, that something like this would happen. And my heart goes out to the people our son has hurt. If he was in his right mind, he would be absolutely devastated of what he has done. But he obviously was not in his right mind. He somehow had been triggered into a psychosis and he'd lost touch with reality. And it's not a joke. It's not a joke. It's difficult for all those poor people that have lost their loved ones.
I don't understand. I've been watching everything I can on this TV, and putting myself through hell watching my son. But I'm prepared to do that because I love my son and I want to find out what's wrong. I don't know what's wrong.
Oh, that poor guy.
Why he would do this.
Do you have any reason to understand why he would have targeted women?
Yes.
Why?
Because he wanted a girlfriend and he's got no social skills. And he was frustrated out of his brain.
Oh.
And I saw him having a meal at a restaurant, walk out of the restaurant, and he just, boom, fell into a shop. There's something physically wrong, besides mentally wrong, with my son.
We are just ordinary people who brought up our son as best we could. We did what we could for him. He got a degree. We helped him to get a degree. We contacted the lecturers. We contacted the university, and everybody was very supportive of him. His teachers loved him. He was top of the class. He worked hard.
To you, he's a monster. To me, he was a very sick boy.
Oh, this poor guy. Like, okay, go away. What's it with Facebook? Okay, stop it. All right. So now get this right. The media they didn't check they had the right guy, and they named the wrong dude. Look at this. University student Benjamin Cohen will sue Channel 7 after he was wrongly identified as Westfield Bondi Junction killer. As he should. A university student who was wrongly identified by Channel 7 as being the man who killed 6 people at Bondi Junction Shopping Centre on Saturday has hired lawyers for legal action against the TV network. Benjamin Cohen, a student at the University of Technology, Sydney, wants an apology and compensation for harm after he was falsely named as the knife-wielding murderer. The actual killer was Queensland Joel Chachi, 40, but Mr. Cohen, 20, was named as the attacker in 2 Channel 7 broadcasts. Sunrise presenter Matt Shervington said on Weekend Sunrise at 6:05 a.m. on Sunday that the killer was 40-year-old Benjamin Cohen, dressed in Kangaroos ARL jersey. Shortly after, hosts Monique Wright and Michael Usher spoke with reporter Lucy McLeod, who also wrongly named Mr. Cohen. So that's who's that? That must be the wrong dude. Oh, yeah. Okay, so Benjamin Cohen pictured wants an apology, compensation, and costs for harm after he was falsely named as the knife-wielding Bondi Junction murderer. Oh, my God. How do you, dude? Look, like, how does the media make that bad of a mistake? He looks like remotely like him, remotely like it's a white dude with a beard. They should pay up. Like that. Then Cohen, Chachi, that's not even like they had the same initial. The attacker, 40-year-old Benjamin Cohen, is known to. Oh, he's known to police. Oh, okay. Yeah, right. His motives are not known yet. He was working on his own. Oh, sorry. No, that's what they said. She wrongly said. Mr. Cohen has been falsely identified on social media within hours of the mass murders in Westfield Centre in Sydney East on Saturday afternoon. The police did not name Chachi as the killer until 9 a.m. on Sunday. Imagine waking up on Sunday morning to see your name and photo out there as a mass murderer. Imagine that. Like, what? The television network blamed human error for wrongly naming a computer science student. Hey, it'd be better to name computer error. Human error is not a good one. A 7 Insider said a news producer wrote the story, which was then sub-edited by a senior producer before being sent to Shevington to record his voice. Oh, someone's getting sacked. An internal investigation is underway to identify how that mistake was made. Oh, I bet it is. I bet it is. Okay. And one last thing on this one. So Westfield Bondi Junction fatal stabbing, hero cop Amy Scott breaks her silence. So we have a hero cop, everybody. So it's pretty unusual for like a cop, especially like a lone female cop, to get out her gun and like in a public way like this, and then of course she gets celebrated. So New South Wales Police Inspector Amy Scott has opened up on the moment she confronted 40-year-old knifeman Joel Chachi. Police Inspector Scott gunned down Chachi, bringing an end to his rampage that killed 6 innocent people at Bondi Junction. The senior officer who was attached to the Eastern Suburbs Police Command was near the busy shopping centre as a horrific attack unfolded. Inspector Scott entered the Westfield by herself, sprinting through the top level of the complex before coming face-to-face with Chachi, who was brandishing a 30-centimetre knife. Witnesses said Inspector Scott yelled at Chachi, put it down, before he lunged at her, and she fired, shooting him in the chest. There she is. There she is. And there's her. Let's see if we can watch this.
Is it a boy? Oh, he's a boy.
Or do you think
Carrying a little girl. Carrying a girl.
Yeah, but or do you think because that's like a daughter of someone?
Why do they need so many? Oh man! Oh, it's all the bodies right
Hang
here.
on, this is not it. What happened? Did it go back to something else? That was Times Square, wasn't it? Dumb. Okay, never mind. Oh, boomerang all over the place. Boomerang all over the place. Okay, what next? On my list. On my list. Oh, yeah. Right. Let's have a look. I know you guys have all been waiting for this. I know you guys have all been waiting for this. And that is this dude. Where is he? Oh, yeah. Okay, so let me just share this to screen. Then this dude. Okay, I'm not proud at all to present to you Chille wannabe. Yes, Gabrielle. Yeah, Gabrielle. I'm not proud. But here we go. Let's have a look. So, and this is, I'm not going to show you the whole thing. I chose one of the least embarrassing ones. Well, it's not too embarrassing. It's kind of embarrassing. It's pretty embarrassing. Yes, it's embarrassing. Okay, so he's down in Victoria, this one. And yeah, thanks to Conspiracy, Whaikaru for emailing me about this. All right, let's just start.
Hi. Yeah, just having a look around, get some information. I'm just going to ask them what departments there are here.
Departments.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've got the council, which
Yep.
is obviously in the back. The cafe. We've got a theatre. You can't like go into these areas though. A studio.
Those areas.
You can't go into there. There's an art gallery, which is at the at the moment we're actually in between exhibitions, so that's closed.
Oh, okay.
And then at the very end is the library.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can
And
certainly
the
go in there, but
council.
that's about the only one. Yeah.
And what departments does the council have?
Well, that's customer service, the council. You know.
Is there like the aging department or the?
Yeah, all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go ask them.
If the people have you got an inquiry?
Yes,
or?
I do.
Yeah. So that you can just have there's a bit of a queue there by the.
That's all right. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry, excuse me. It's illegal. You cannot take any films here at all of people. All right. So
What?
no, you can't. It's not. People have not given you their permission.
Well, it's public space.
No, but there's still people here, so you're not allowed to.
I'm pretty sure I
You
can.
can take pictures, but you can't take video. Okay, so you've been asked.
Yeah, there's
And
no
I'm
privacy
security. I'm
in
security.
public. It's a public area.
Excuse me.
I'll just
I'm
come back into a corner.
You're not getting in the way here too. Sorry. All right?
Yeah, there's no privacy in public, man. It's a public area. I'm allowed to film.
No, you're not allowed to film.
Yes,
Not
I
in
am.
here. This is a government building. You're not allowed to. That is our rules.
Well, the law says I
No,
can.
you can't.
I'm doing a story on the building.
Okay, so you've got to go.
I don't
through
need a
right-
permission in public. I'm not talking to you anyway.
No, you do need to get a permit if you want to film, because it is a government building. So you've got to go through the right channel.
That's not right.
It is.
I mean, I can show you the law where it says that I can film in public.
No, not in this. This is a government building. You're
It
not
doesn't
allowed
matter. I've been into thousands of government buildings.
No,
And
we're not allowed. And this is a customer service area. People
So
don't want, clearly,
What?
they've already stated.
He's a Karen.
No, you can't. All right. So if that's all you're here to do.
No, I need to. I've got questions. I need to get some
If it's a council
documents.
related,
Yeah, that's what I need.
yeah,
That's
okay,
what I
then
want
you
to.
can wait, but I want you to turn that off. Okay.
I'm not turning it off.
Well,
Yeah,
then-
it's my right.
No, it's not. Then I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
I'll leave once I'm done with my business.
Okay, but I don't want you to film.
Yeah, I don't think you're right. So
Yeah, you cannot film not in these sort of areas. Come on.
it's a public area.
It's customer service.
So
for the
what?
council. Just please. I am part of security.
No, I'm not going to let you infringe my rights. It's a beautiful
Oh,
building.
right.
I need. That's very important there.
You can take a photo, but not of people's behinds.
I didn't even take
Oh,
pictures. I was there.
But you're taking photos of
I'm
the
allowed to-
council staff. They don't want their
The public
pictures of them.
servants. I can take pictures
No,
of
no.
anyone.
No, you have to get
Anyone.
their permission.
No.
You have to get their permission.
I don't know where you got that from. Did you want to call your supervisor?
Do you want me to?
Can you call your supervisor? I don't think you know what you're talking
I
about.
do know what I'm talking about.
No, it's absolutely wrong. I can show you the law where I can take pictures in public. This is a public space.
You can take photos. You're taking film.
Yeah.
You're not allowed
Pictures
to take
and
film.
video.
No, it's not.
Video is a series of pictures.
Oh.
It's 60 frames a second. It's capturing right now.
I'm telling you.
So serious.
No, I don't know. You're wrong.
Yeah.
You're
Well,
wrong.
no, I'm not. So you can either, if you've got an inquiry, please switch to video.
So you're saying in here I can, but just not in there.
Take stills.
So not even video in here.
No, because you're not allowed to.
That's wrong. No, call your supervisor. I don't agree with you.
You want to wait? You can wait in the queue to inquire about whatever.
Yeah, I'm going to film. It's my right.
But I don't. No, you were switching
No,
it off.
I'm not switching it off. Sorry. I'm not going to switch it off. I have the right. I'll show you the law. I can show you the law. Call your supervisor. You're wrong. I don't know where you got this. Just because somebody told you that's the... I don't have to follow your policy. I don't have to follow your policy. The law says something. I can do it.
Can you just take a note of that? You're not allowed to film, okay? All right? You're going to film.
Yeah, I'm going to film. This is a public space.
No, you're not. You're not. You are. You're going to leave.
You can't stop me. What are you blocking? The lights are off.
I don't care. You're not allowed to. No, stop. Now. This is not. Go.
Hey, that's assault.
No,
that's
it's
assault.
not. And I'm asking you to leave.
No, that's assault, ma'am.
And
please.
I'm asking you to leave.
Please, I'll call the police, please.
Yeah,
you just
I'll call
assaulted
the
me.
Frigging police in a minute. Can you just leave?
Please back off.
No, no.
I can't believe you just assaulted me. Man. Can you get out of my face? Why are you in my
I'm asking you
face?
to stop filming.
Why are you bloody? It's a public space. So you assault people for filming. Just go call your supervisor. You're shaking.
Yes, I am, because you're making
Just go
me
call your
really
supervisor.
annoyed.
It's a camera. It's a camera, madam. I'm a journalist. I'm doing.
Okay, where's your
I told you I'm doing a story on the
Then
building.
you've got to go through the right channels.
I don't want to talk to you. You're shaking. Please go calm down. I'll leave here for now.
Oh.
She's work here. She just assaulted me for taking pictures.
God,
Can you
what's her
please
name?
call the police? She just
I'm
assaulted
asking
me.
you to leave.
Can you please call the police?
Yeah, excuse me.
Please. No, I'm not.
See,
She just
this is
assaulted
what
me.
I'm trying to get him to stop doing.
She just assaulted me. You want me to turn my recording off?
Yes, because I'm trying to. No,
Well,
you're not.
Yeah, she
It's
should
a
have.
public space.
No,
touched him,
so
though.
this is a government building. You cannot film through there.
Can you stop getting so close to me as well? You're breaking social distancing. I'm a journalist. I'm doing a story on the building. I'm independent. I'm
Yeah.
independent.
Does it need some sort of proof? And I think that you would understand.
What kind of proof will I need
You
if I'm
need a
independent?
permit for a start to film.
What, you want me to give you a piece of paper with saying,
I've told you.
I don't understand. I'm an
I've
independent journalist.
shown you here that you need a permit if you want to film.
That's a guideline. You said it's a guideline. It doesn't trump the law, and it certainly doesn't give you the right to assault me, madam. Unbelievable.
Yes, they're part of us.
Just call the police. I want the police here. She just assaulted me.
Oh, okay.
I think it'd be best if you headed out. They've got.
I don't
Just
know
call
what the
the
cardboard
police?
stars are.
I want the police here. She just assaulted me. What's your name?
My name is Irene.
Irene?
Part of security here.
You're part of security.
Yes, I am.
Can I get your last name?
No, you can't.
Just for the record.
What's your name, mate?
My name's Michael.
And you work here?
Yes, I do. I'm the head of operations.
Just stay at 2 meters, please.
Certainly. The footage you've just taken of Irene's personal details cannot go onto. You've been asked to leave. You've been told that that requires a permit to film in a government building.
That's not right.
You can roll your eyes at me, sir, but you've been asked to leave. We are happy to call the police. We can deal with both situations at the same time.
I will
You've been
want the
informed
police
that it
here.
requires a permit.
I don't have to follow your guidelines if they violate my rights. There's no privacy in public. She came up to me, said that.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Oh, now you're calling them.
No, and
After
like I said, we can
15
do it-
minutes after she assaults me, she
We
decides
can-
to call the police
we can
after
deal with
I
both
asked her
situations
straight
at the
away.
same time. I'm simply saying two things. One, you do not have permission to film me. And secondly,
I don't need
you
your
require permission, a permit to film here.
Can I get your permission?
He's
Thanks,
actually
I don't know.
correct.
Again,
It's not like the
It's
US.
against freedom. It's against democracy. You're not. This is not Nazi Germany. I pay for this building, and I follow the law, not your policies or your guidelines. Right? And I don't appreciate being assaulted. And people, that's another crime, is to block my camera. She blocked my camera. That's another crime. You can't block somebody's camera in public. It's the same as blocking their eyes. Yeah. Actually, can I get a complaint form so I can put a complaint about this whole situation? Do you have a complaint form?
Need to do it online.
I'm sure there's a physical complaint form.
Let me check for you. I'm just trying to find one for
Thank you.
Let me check for you.
Excuse me, madam. Can I get your name, please?
No, you don't have to.
Oh, you don't want to give your name?
No, you don't.
Because you might have been a witness to her assaulting me. I just need your name. Well, that might not be enough. I don't know what happens with this video. Maybe the police will, or you guys will confiscate my phone. So you don't want to give your name? It's not very professional, madam.
Well, you're not giving your name, sir.
I can't believe you want to hide from the camera too. There, I got your face.
Well,
I'll
you're
identify you.
not putting your face on the
Excuse me
camera,
to show your
sir.
badge.
At least Chille puts his face on the camera.
You can't block your name. I can. Hello, do you work here?
Yes, I do.
Can I just get your name, please?
I'm Wayne McGee.
Wayne McGee.
Acting manager.
And yours, please? You work here? Lisa?
Can I help you
Last
with something?
name or?
Lisa's enough. I don't give my surname.
Then you all got your badges turned over. They're supposed to be facing the right way.
Yeah.
They're not supposed to be. The badges are on so we can see.
I shouldn't go to work and having to deal with this. That's right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking the whole time I was watching these. It's like
It's assault.
You're invading their personal space. You're invading my staff's
be a man and face the
In
camera.
public.
The staff's personal space.
In public.
Yes. You're invading their space with your camera. They don't know what you're doing with the footage at home. You have to respect people's want for privacy.
How you going? I think you guys are here for me. Yeah. I'm Alex.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, independent journalist.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm just doing a story on the building.
Yeah.
And they told me I couldn't film in public because I need people's permission.
What was your name?
Alex?
Alex.
Yeah.
Okay, Alex.
I don't want to give my full name because I haven't done any crime.
No, we're
So,
not concerned
yep.
that you've done that, but security have asked you to leave the premises. They're not wanting you here anymore, okay? So they've just asked us
Well,
to come down.
I will leave. I told them from the beginning. I just have some business in there. As soon as I'm done with my business, I will leave. I'm just I've got a complaint form because she actually assaulted me.
Okay.
So I want to actually file a charge against her for assault with you guys. And
Wow.
two of them,
What did she do, mate?
she grabbed my phone and yanked it out of my hand.
Okay.
She
So
even,
she just stopped you, tried to stop you from filming.
well, she grabbed my phone.
Damaged your phone, did she? Or
Yeah, I don't think so. It looks all right.
any injuries to you?
No, I don't think so, yeah. But it's still assault. I mean, she has no right. She's security. She's supposed to observe and report. I wasn't doing anything dangerous.
So, look, we're coming here to assist with their call. If you have anything that you want to report, you're more than welcome to go down to the police station.
Okay.
There is CCTV footage, though, obviously.
Yep.
But at this point, I'm going to issue you with a move on direction, okay? They don't want you here. So I'm telling you that you need to move on from this area for the next 24 hours.
Okay.
If you do return or you refuse to leave, we can arrest you for trespass.
Yep. Okay, so can I just get your names and badge numbers? So can you just verbalize it, please?
Yeah. First Constable Troy Dole.
And your badge number?
47160.
And yours?
First Constable Jessica Harris, 47036.
Thank you very much. So
We're at
they, no, Warren, thank you. So they can't ask me to leave for any reason, especially for a lawful reason. You know, they're saying that I have to follow their guidelines, that I can't record in public because people have an expectation of privacy in public, including them. So all that is just completely false. The reason, like, the Victorian Human Rights Charter says that I have to follow orders from authorities. Just a little bit close. I don't want to spit on you guys. Just social distancing. It says that a person only has to follow orders or instructions from any authority if the instructions are reasonable and lawful. Just let me finish, please. Let me finish.
And then
So
you can let me finish after that then.
if they want to violate my rights, right? So listen to what I said. They can, if they want to, the Human Rights Charter says I can film in public. If they want to stop me from filming in public, they have to give me a reasonable and lawful reason why. I asked them, why can't I film in public? They said, oh, because you cannot film people in public. You have to ask their permission, which is false, according to the Victorian Human Rights Charter. So that's why I didn't leave. The things they're telling me, it doesn't make sense. If they ask me to leave and they give me a good reason that it's lawful and justified, I will gladly leave. But if I've got business
I think there was a
in
bit
there,
of confusion because you said that you're an independent journalist, and
they've got they spoke about the fact that they need credentials.
Yep.
And you got to show your credentials if you're a journalist,
And that's the
just so they
problem.
know. And if that was the
Yep.
case,
Yep.
they would allow
Yep.
those actions to happen.
I told them I'm an independent journalist.
And also,
but
just to follow on from that as well. So this is also a private property. So
it's not
anyone-
private, it's public. I'm the owner of this building. I pay taxes. It's a public building.
That's fair.
It's the people's
I pay
building.
taxes as well. But
Yeah.
can you please let me finish?
Yep.
I've let you
Yep.
talk.
Sorry.
Okay. At the end of the day, on a property, if someone asks you to leave, you must comply with that direction. I have now issued you a move on direction under the breach of the peace. Okay. So if you don't follow that, we will have to arrest you and remove you from this
Oh, I don't want to
area.
get arrested.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
So
will.
if you can please move on from this area for the next
But it's the
24
way you're
hours.
saying it's not reasonable. It's not
And you
lawful.
can think it's not reasonable, that's fine. But unfortunately, it is lawful.
Why?
If you're at Fountain
So-
Gate
so
and you were,
I-
let me finish.
Yeah. But that's a private business.
I let you finish. Let me finish. If you're at Fountain Gate, if you're at the swimming pool, if you're anywhere and they've asked you to leave, you have to comply with that direction, okay? Because it's up to them at the end of the day. If they want you to leave, they want you to leave. If you don't comply with that direction, that's why they call the police, okay? They just don't want you here at the end of the day. If I was here and doing something that they weren't happy with, they can also ask me to leave, and I'd be going, okay, no worries.
Are your body cams on? Yeah. So, but so I'm not the owner. That's not the people's building. That's a private establishment. Of course, I would have to leave.
But at the end of the day,
This is
if you're causing issues in their eyes, they can still ask you to leave, which is what they've done today. I don't want to have to argue with you about law and all that. Can you let me finish?
Yes.
At
Okay,
the end of the
I
day,
agree with you. Yeah.
I've given you a move on
Yep,
direction.
I agree.
You need to comply
Yes,
with that
I will.
right
I will.
now.
Okay,
I'm
so
not going to stop. I'm not going to stand here arguing with you. I need you to start moving.
so if I don't leave now, I will be arrested. Is that correct? If I don't leave now, I'll be arrested.
You need to leave
Okay,
the area.
I will leave. Thank you. So there'll be a lawsuit because you've infringed my rights. So I'm leaving under the threat of arrest. So now I'm standing in court. Just to let you know.
It's our powers.
So I just, because he's still grabbing me a form, they were working out how to get my Freedom of Information Act request. I've got the complaint form. I can't go and get it now. The lady that assaulted me, I don't even know her name. She refused to give me a
Well,
name.
you can give them a call and find out the name, okay? But at this point, I do need to get you to move on. All right.
So after I've been assaulted, you're going to kick me out.
So, like I said, you're more than welcome to attend the police station to report that assault. But
How if I don't have a name?
Pardon me?
How if I don't have a name? How can I report an assault if I don't have a name? She assaulted me, guys, for taking pictures.
Her name's Irene. Okay, so you
That's
can-
not enough. I need a full
Well,
name.
you haven't even given us your full name either. Okay.
Yeah,
So
but
her
she's a
name's
public servant and she assaulted me. I didn't assault anyone.
We'll be able to find an Irene from here. Okay.
So-
You can always call to get further details.
Can I call and can you get her name and can I call
We're on our
your?
way to a priority one job, so we have to go. But like I said, you need to move on. All right. Did you drive here or walk here or?
It's none of your business. I'm not giving you any information because you're violating my rights. You're violating my rights. So you can't do nothing about them assaulting me.
No, but you can.
No.
You can report it to a police station.
Yeah, but I mean,
You've got no injuries
you're the
right now.
police.
Have you got any injuries?
No, but you're not
Have you got
even
any
letting
damages?
me. No. Oh, yeah, I might. I don't know. And I don't know. I might have
You gonna go to
injuries. Not right now. I don't think so.
So like I said, you're more than welcome to attend the Narrowwarren Police Station to report this point. We're obviously calling on behalf of them who have called, asking you to leave the premises. Anything else, you can go to the police station to deal with, okay?
So it's your understanding that they can ask me to leave for any reason.
Well,
and I have to follow
they
them.
believe
And you
that you
can
are making
enforce
some
that.
of their clients inside uncomfortable with your feelings.
Feelings.
So that's what they say.
I mean, that's feelings. Is not your law
At the end of the day,
enforcement.
if
You're
the
not
patrons
feelings
are
enforcement.
uncomfortable, they can ask you to leave. That's
You're
their
not
right.
feeling enforcement.
Thank
You're
you very
law
much for
enforcement.
complying.
Mm.
You need to keep moving the area.
This is not council
I
land.
want you to move on fully from the area.
This is not council property. From the public property.
Yep, so I've asked you to move on from Bunjil Place as a whole. You're still
Where do I have to
so
go?
move on.
Where do I have to go? Where can I stand?
Move on from the area. Go home, go shopping. I don't mind, but you need to move on.
Well, where? Tell me the first point I can go to.
As long as you're past the point of this property, I don't mind.
This property? Okay. I'll just get your number plates.
Yeah, I'm scared of
Thank you.
grannies.
Thanks, guys. There'll be a lawsuit, guys.
Oh, lawsuit. Okay, I'm gonna save this one for next time. Hang on a minute. Okay. How did that compare to the way he would have been treated if he did that in the US? What do you think about police officers, by the way? I noticed that Gabrielle, what'd you say? Where is it? The whole interaction is mind-blowing to me. This would never go down like this in the USA. Yeah. That the police were very, very nice to him, weren't they? And also, like, what is with how he's to me, like, Chille is actually a lot cooler than him. Like, and I can't believe I'm saying that. Like, Chille actually has the balls to put his face on camera and say his whole name and speak, like, put himself out there, and like he gets himself arrested, sure, and he's a dickhead, but at least he is actually willing to put himself out there. Whereas this dude, he's hiding behind his own camera. He just calls himself Alex, and he's hiding. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I think it's really cowardly myself. And I don't, also, he has no clue as to what the real laws are. I've been to Parliament House, for example, and there's no way in Australia's Parliament House they don't know what the laws are, right? You can't film in Parliament House. You cannot film in Parliament House. There's no question Parliament House is a publicly owned building. It's a government building. And you may not film in Parliament House. You will be, if you try and have an argument like that with security in Parliament House, there's no question you'd be arrested. There's just no question. So try that shit on in Parliament House. Good luck. Right. The thing is, he's going into small public buildings and dealing with security in small public buildings. So he knows that there's likely to be like security officers who just aren't used to being harassed like that. You think it's the same here in Canada? Yeah, it probably is. Our laws are very similar. I've noticed that. Please, politicians in the United States don't give a shit about politics. All they care about is the next big super PAC. How much money can they give people? What a joke. I think they let it go on longer than ours would. They would have arrested him much sooner. But I think most of our departments train on soft sits now. Yeah. So you can just tell, like, the people here just aren't, they're not prepared for something like that to happen. So, and it's the same with the police officers. Like, our police officers, especially when they see a camera like that, they don't want to be seen to be doing anything wrong. Like, they know they're going to get scrutinized, and they want to be seen to be being very professional, very kind and lenient as much as they can, unless the person is like aggressive, unless the person is actually being physically aggressive, then they want to be seen to be accommodating as much as they can. But yeah, like if he had been actually acting out like in a physical way, then they would have taken him down. But he wasn't. So they knew that they were going on YouTube. They knew. So they were covering their own behinds. But generally cops here are pretty easy to get along with. As long as you're kind to them, they'll be kind to you. Generally. That's what I've found and it's what I've noticed. But it depends. Like if you are, and I suppose it also depends on the community that you're in as well. Like there are some areas that are a bit rough, and then they're a little bit rough around the edges as well. So anyway, things are very tense over here. It's kind of crazy. I've noticed that too. But I mean, one thing leads to another, doesn't it? One thing leads to another. So it's a situation that leads to retaliation and then back and forth. It depends on what else is going on. The police were maybe bored. At least they had something to do. That happens. And it's not a bad problem, is it, for them to be bored? I guess if there's not that much like crime and nastiness going on, then good. Back when the vid was around in Victoria, there was a lot more hostility in the community, and I don't think that you would have seen such nice interactions between citizens and cops. But that video was only like a year ago or so. So yeah, the cops and the citizens much more pleasantries, let's say. Okay. Now moving back onto regular programming. Scott Peterson had a hearing in Modesto, California, just the other day. We didn't cover it because other things were on. I just wanted to quickly go and have a quick look at it. It was very short, and it was a motion to seal. So let's go back to court, as they say. Have a quick lookie at what happened. And because it wasn't that big of a deal as far as the mainstream channels were concerned, I think Law and Order actually picked it up. Law and Crime, whatever it was. They didn't actually pick it up, so I have to run it straight from Court TV, which means it has talking heads and stuff and all the stuff all over the top of it. So we might sort of fast forward through bits and pieces. But yeah, let's have a little bit of a lookie at what happened. We get to see him with his little ponytail and such.
We are on the record in the matter of People versus Scott V. Peterson, case number SC 055500A. Counsel would like to state their appearances, starting with counsel for Mr. Peterson.
Good morning, Your Honor. Paula Mitchell, Los Angeles Innocence Project for Scott Peterson.
Thank you. Good morning. And counsel for the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. Attorney Vasquez, District Attorney's Office, Stanislaus County for the people.
Good morning.
Libby Flanagan, District Attorney's Office, Stanislaus County for the people.
Good morning.
David Harrison,
Good morning.
On the right, just for the people, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good morning. And Mr. Peterson is present by Zoom. Mr. Peterson, can you both see and hear the proceedings?
Oh, hey, Scott.
Yes, I can. Thank you, Your Honor.
And do we have your consent to appear by Zoom this morning?
Absolutely, Your Honor.
There's not got much else to do.
Thank you. We are on this morning for the defense motion to seal. The motion to seal was directed at a single exhibit that was attached to the motion under Penal Code Section 1054.9, as well as the people's opposition to that motion to seal and the reply that was filed on behalf of Mr. Peterson. I'm prepared to hear argument if all parties are ready to proceed. This was the defense motion. Ms. Mitchell, I will hear from the defense first.
Thank you, Your Honor. The motion to seal that's before the court is pretty straightforward and simple. Mr. Peterson is seeking to keep private certain witness information that was obtained from police reports for all of the reasons stated in our pleadings. So unless the court has any questions for us, we're prepared to submit on our pleadings, and we would respectfully ask for an opportunity to respond to any arguments the prosecution may raise today.
Okay, that's fine. You'll get an opportunity to reply. I guess the question that I have is every version of the exhibit, the one that was attached to your motion to seal and the one that was attached to the 1054.9 motion that is the target of the motion to seal, were filed with the court redacted. What is it exactly that you're seeking the court to seal, since everything that is in the record already has the redactions that you're looking for?
We're just asking for those redactions to be kept in place so that that information is not made public.
Okay, thank you. Comments by the people?
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning. I'll be brief. First, there was some debate on our end as to what was actually being requested by the defense in their motion to seal. Was it to file under seal solely that November 14th letter, requesting post-trial discovery that they sent to our office, or were they looking to seal more? So we had some debate amongst ourselves. And the reason for that is the language in their motion makes it unclear what they're asking for exactly, because on page 4, line 21, they write, defendant Scott Peterson is asking this court for permission to file certain information under seal and a redacted exhibit that is public-facing in support of his motion for post-conviction discovery. The motion further states the redactions cover personal identifiers of witnesses, potential suspects, individuals with knowledge of potential suspects, and other sensitive information related to counsel's investigation. This seems to suggest more than just the November 14th letter, since both the motions and the multitude of exhibits attached to both motions contain redactions or omit information up to and including the point of having anonymous witnesses. Further, what we viewed as a potentially very vague and therefore expansive request also asked the court to permanently seal the items. This is evident in Mr. Harris's statement to the court when we were here last, where he said, as of this hearing, and it remains true today, we don't know who these witnesses are. This includes DM, ST, KM, KW, TS, and KD, assuming I have those letters correct, because some of the redactions were such that it was kind of hard to see the letters. So this remains our concern. In his reply, the defense attacks the prosecution at one point and essentially accuses the people of lying to this court about witnesses who have not been identified to the people. That was at page 2 of their reply on line 10. Yet it was in fact counsel who stated, the identity of the witnesses whose names are redacted in the declarations that Mr. Harris is referring to have stated they are fearful of retaliation by the Modesto Police Department if their names become known, and have asked that their names remain sealed. That's at the transcript on page 15. We just wish to ensure that in responding to these motions with very lengthy attachments, that we're able to address in a very fulsome way all of the various allegations being made in those documents. Further, as we've noted, they have requested redactions in that letter of 40 individuals and 2 addresses. Of those, 10 individuals and 2 locations are actually identified in the defense filings or their informal discovery requests. So a full 25% of those people, their names are already out there. Almost immediately upon the time of their filing, all of those documents were published by the media. So the information is out there. It begs the question how serious they are about protecting the names of these people, given that, at least outside of the people whom they only identify by initials. So there's a simple solution to that. If the concern is sealing of that particular letter, that particular letter as an exhibit could be withdrawn from the motion. It does not add to their motion. It's not necessary to their motion. It largely provides the same information as what is contained in their motions. And it also injects a lack of clarity, since frequently what is suggested in the footnotes regarding what the content of the exhibits will be is not necessarily what is actually provided in the motion and the attached exhibits. And
let's bring in criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Brian Silber, who is standing.
Let's not. Okay. So the state is arguing big time just about redacting some names, pretty much. Like, and also, okay, so 25% of the names that you're trying to redact are already out there, guys. So how serious are you about this? Really? Really? Okay. I don't really understand what the big deal is with, like, sealing people's names from the public record when they are they're just being named in documents as, like, their names and addresses. Names and addresses, etc. are being named in documents, if it's inconsequential, like, big deal. Why would the state object to that? They're defense witnesses, and they are being named as but potentially, like in this instance, these are people who would have been people who cited Lacey walking the dog. And so why would the state have a problem with keeping those names in the realm of the court rather than being put out into the public, right? So they would just have like initials, for example. They're worried about fear of retaliation. They're worried about like there's lots of people out there who just think Scott Peterson's guilty, and therefore if they put their names out there, then they're worried about people coming forth and hating them. So what's the big deal, right? Let them live their lives. Witness intimidation, gang, cops, etc. Yeah, Benjamin, exactly. So just let them be anonymous. Who cares? Because America, F yeah. Yeah. And so state fighting it tooth and nail. Just doesn't make any sense to me. Just like it's in the interest of justice and just getting the trial done, let these people have their say and just be initials. Who cares?
And they're public for a very important reason. We need transparency in our legal system. And that's something that protects litigants. It protects the public. It's a protection against the government that they shouldn't conduct criminal justice proceedings in secret. However, there are limited circumstances where certain things are withheld from the public record and they get sealed or they get redacted. An example might be the full name of a minor. Some of those initials may reference minors. I don't know if that's true or not, but that would be a reason. People's date of birth, social security, anything that would be sensitive, you can motion the court to exclude from the record. The bigger picture here, I don't know. I think it's yet to be seen. We need to hear the rest of the arguments.
I love that you're sharing the reasons we typically would see things sealed, but in this situation, they're saying because it's so high profile and they want to protect these people from intense scrutiny that they want this sealed. Brian, stand by. We do have to squeeze in the break. We want to get everyone back inside for more of that hearing there in San Mateo County, California, in the case of Scott Peterson. Don't go anywhere.
No, there's no minor witnesses.
Bassett's project is representing him, and they're pushing to get him.
Yeah, like I said.
So the defense's actions also speak.
There's no law and crime one. I have to just use this one, unfortunately.
To the seriousness of this motion. They now claim that the people are wrong, that the California Rules of Court 2.550 and 2.551 govern this motion to seal. That's in their reply at page 4, line 3. When it was the defense that filed this motion in the first place, stating this motion is made pursuant to California Rules of Court 2.550 and 2.551. The defendant does admit in his reply in a footnote that Mr. Peterson's motion to seal cited California Rule 2.550, 2.551, not that it was made pursuant to those sections. This sort of hit and run approach deprives the people of really understanding on what basis the defendant is claiming the legal right to seal anything. Instead of starting over, they just simply say, well, oops, and move on. Even under the defendant's new position, however, those rules are a good starting point. I would like to address one comment in defense counsel's motion that we have refused to provide any discovery to which they are entitled, is the claim. And I'd just like to note that current counsel substituted in and replaced prior habeas counsel on the pending habeas on November 13th of 2023. The next day, they sent us an email with the 50+ page letter at issue here, requesting literally hundreds of items, the bulk of which had been either previously provided to prior counsel or no longer existed due to being affiliated with unrelated cases and the passage of 20 years, or never existed in the first place, because their existence is based on supposition and speculation. And in addition to that, there was a request for DNA testing. So this letter arrived the week before Thanksgiving and the Christmas holidays.
Oh, how convenient.
On December 14th, we suggested a meeting with them in January. And on January 17th, we were served with the motions at issue here. We have...
Gabrielle and Benjamin, they have a lot. Let's just say, and you're right, cue the ambulance. Yeah. Okay. So, and also Benjamin, great. Everyone, it's a huge talking point in the guilty Scott Peterson community that it's not the Real Innocence Project. It's the LA Innocence Project. And they've only exonerated one person. So don't confuse them with the Innocence Project, because LA Innocence Project is completely different. And the Real Innocence Project wouldn't want anything to do with this. Okay. So to be clear, you're absolutely right. Innocence projects, plural, don't get involved unless they have vetted the case. And generally, they don't get involved unless there is some sort of physical new evidence that is exculpatory. Okay, so there's something new. There's something that is really worth pursuing because, I mean, it's expensive, right? And it's also going to taint their reputation if they go forth with something a high profile like this, right? For the LA Innocence Project or any Innocence Project to put their name behind a high profile case like this, with that, and for there to just be nothing, no exculpatory evidence, no new exculpatory evidence worth pursuing, that would just, it would look terrible. It would look just terrible. So in answer to your question, I did say taint. Of course I did. Okay, so there's plenty, and I've been covering this for the last few weeks on Mondays. If you want to have a look at my Scott Peterson playlist, there's plenty. The biggest one, and the one I think they're hanging their hat on, is the DNA, potential blood DNA on the mattress in the burnt out van, which is linked to the burglary which occurred across the road from the Peterson home on Christmas Eve. After Scott Peterson left his house, and that was about 9:30 a.m. in the morning, Christmas Eve, and therefore, if he left that house at 9:30 a.m. approximately on Christmas Eve, and there were also witnesses who saw Lacey Peterson not just walking her dog that morning, but also there are witnesses who will come forth and say that she was seen in an altercation with these burglars. But the big one is, if her blood DNA is found on that mattress that was in that burnt out van, bingo. All right, bingo. Because how on earth could her blood DNA be in that on that mattress in that burnt out van that was used in that burglary, and also have been connected to the boat and him, Scott Peterson? How could he have anything to do with the murdering of his wife and unborn child? If those burglars had her in the back of the van, how's it possible? It's just not. The two things just can't be. So now the guilty Scott Peterson people will say, hey, but that mattress has been tested plenty of times. Well, that's with old technology. That's with old science. And the LA Innocence Project is saying, you know what? There's new testing that is available, and we need to have this tested again. We must have this tested again. And also, there are witnesses who saw Lacey Peterson. There's actually up to 17 of them, but I don't think there'll be that many of them that will come forth at trial. There's plenty, though. Plenty of witnesses who saw Lacey Peterson walking her dog that morning, and that was well after Scott Peterson left that morning, and they will come to trial and they will say they saw her walking the dog that morning after he left. So if she was alive after he left that morning, how is it possible that he's the murderer? So there's quite a few things. There's plenty. Stop it. Stop. All right, let's keep going.
Continue to review the various requests in these very lengthy motions as we work on our responses. This is an incredibly time-consuming process. And this is not the first time that the defense has brought such motions. He's previously brought both a 1405 and a 1054.9 motion. So in sum, our suggestion is simply to withdraw that letter from the discovery motion. Then no sealing discussion is even required. 2, we don't believe the defense has established good cause by substantive evidence for their request because there's no substantive evidence included. But the fact of the matter is, Your Honor, we don't really have a concern with having the pleading documents have initials for these citizens who've not been previously identified because we know who they are. We do, however, request full disclosure of the unnamed witnesses who we have no idea who they are. And having said that, the last thing is when we're done with this portion, I have discussed with Ms. Mitchell a motion that we're going to be filing for judicial notice and something we'd like to file, and we've already given her a copy of the CD, and it's the complete reporter's transcript with an index. So.
Okay. All right, so let's stick with the motion to seal, and then I will take up that discussion that you just referenced. Ms. Mitchell, your reply to the people's comments.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Peterson has 2 objectives. One is to get the discovery and the DNA testing that we're requesting as soon as we possibly can. The second objective is to protect the integrity of our investigation that is ongoing. The motion to seal, I did not expect it would become this convoluted. I agree with Ms. Fladiger that it makes sense to withdraw the exhibit at this point. We don't need it. We're entitled to our discovery without it. So to simplify things and keep things moving forward, hopefully expeditiously, we will withdraw that at this time.
Okay, that's fine. The court will direct that the exhibit be returned to counsel, and it won't be considered as part of the motion. And that moots the sealing request. So there's no need for the court to rule on. In terms of the comments about judicial notice, what was the motion that what was the discussion that you and Ms. Mitchell had about dealing with that today, and what is the proposal, Ms. Fladiger?
So, Your Honor, we both referenced in our various pleadings that to start with just today, and I've given Ms. Mitchell a copy. We have a motion for the court to take judicial notice of the entire reporter's transcript. We have included a CD that has the entire reporter's transcript on it, including an index, so it is much easier for court and counsel to go exactly where they need to go with a citation. We discovered during this process that our reporter's transcript doesn't coincide with the defense's reporter's transcript, which is a problem in terms of citations. And so we're trying to address that issue now, early, and make sure we're all citing to the same transcript. We will at a later time, I think with the filing of our motion next Monday, also be requesting additional judicial notice, and we will include at that time additional CDs, and that includes some of the very documents the defense has requested as well, such as the new trial motion, California Supreme Court opinion, petition for habeas, and a variety of other documents. We'll put them all in one CD.
Okay. So what is the proposal for today? Are you essentially just previewing that that's coming, and are we trying to set some kind of a filing schedule for the request for judicial notice in case there's either opposition or a difference between what the people are asking for judicial notice of and what the defense is seeking judicial notice of?
Well, if Ms. Mitchell is in agreement, we'd like to go ahead and submit this motion to the court today. I don't believe she has an opposition to it. It would get the disc in the hands of the court that much more quickly.
Okay. Ms. Mitchell, comments by the defense?
I haven't had an opportunity to look at this yet. I would like to review it and compare it with our copy of the record and make sure I understand what the differences are. But I don't foresee any objection. I just would like an opportunity to review it first.
Okay, that's fine. So if Ms. Boddicker.
All right, we're going to hit the pause button because we do have to get to a break. But you heard there, it sounded like the defense counsel for Peterson says at this time they're going to withdraw that motion to.
Okay, the judge seems to be being extremely patient so far, but this is going to be a battle, right? Like you can see that the state is going to dig its heels in. They, as you said, Hafaris, there are 4 lawyers there just for a motion to seal, and they fought it big time. And like defense just went, okay, fine. Like they're picking their battles. Like it's just like, okay, this one exhibit, fine, we don't need it. Let's just move on. We don't need it. Let's just move on, please. And I think from what I could tell, all I read, if you're still here, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think from what I could tell, they can get it back if they want. They could probably get it back, maybe with it not redacted. Maybe they could talk to those witnesses. But yeah, it's going to be, they're going to be fighting tooth and nail this one. But the judge is very matter of fact. Yep. Okay. Let's just move on, get dates in place. And she's been this way the whole way along. And she hasn't put up with any crap from the state either. Like for the first one, they tried to just draw things out, and she's been like, no, it's not going to take that long for the request for the DNA testing. They wanted extra time, and she went, no, 90 days, that's it. She was very keen to just lock in dates. So that's that. Okay, last thing. Oops, not the weather. Okay, so this. Any of our law tubers looking at this one, do we need a bat signal to David? Are you talking about Scott Peterson? Who's looking at Scott Peterson? Sean's interested in Scott Peterson. I don't know. I have to ask. But every time I'm on Sean's, he asks me how Scott Peterson's going. I have to see. Like when it gets a little bit closer, when the hearings sort of start to get a bit more interesting, I think there will be. Look, I can always get their opinions more. But yeah, it's just at the moment it's all a little bit sort of speculative as to whether or not it's going to go forth. But yeah, no one's really picked it up big time at the moment. But David is interested. And yeah, I could get him on to one of the streams at some point. Okay, now Ruby Frankie's husband, not Ruby Frankie, sues Jody Hildebrandt for emotional distress and negligence. Okay, I just wanted to touch on this briefly because I didn't do a stream on this week. Not sure how much more I'm going to stream on this. Everyone and their dog is streaming on this. Woof. But I did want to touch on just the fact that I'm a little sus. I'm a little bit sus on Mr. Kevin Frankie. I feel like everything that he's doing is a little bit like, not me. I am completely innocent of anything to do with this cult and anything to do with this abuse that went on, and not me. And you know what? Now I'm going to sue Jodie Hildebrandt because she did all this bad stuff. And I feel like it's my opinion, but I feel like it's just some big ruse to make it look like he is the good guy. And he was just hanging out in his house, having a break from everything, having time out, and he knew nothing about any of this. And yet, now he deserves to just have his life back and everything be fine. What do you guys think? He's trying to get custody of the Littleys back. That's what partially what it's about too. Yeah, and I don't think he should get the kids back. Or any money. No. Yep. Abuse and yep, say it ain't so. Exactly. He knew what was going on. Yep. He knew it absolutely ridiculous what happened to those children. Yep. Absolutely. Anyway, so I'm just going to have a little bit of a read of this. I've been sus on him. I can be sus on him all along, but especially since that second interview with the cops, when he was all like, did you find the pen papers? And they were having all these trances and things, and I was just having a break away from them. But then like you go back and have a look at his actual like involvement in the whole connections thing, and he was talking just like them. So come on, mate. Tell us another one. Right, Salt Lake City. Ruby Frankie's husband, Kevin Frankie, has filed a lawsuit against Jodie Hildebrandt, citing emotional distress and negligence for him and his children. Kevin Frankie has already filed for guardianship of the 4 children, which includes the 2 who are subject to the investigation around Jodie Hildebrandt's neighborhood in Ivans. Based on the facts and general allegations in the complaint, the 3 causes for action from Frankie and his attorney are intentional infliction of emotional distress, negligent infliction of emotional distress, and negligence. Oh, there's the document. Kevin Frankie, by and through counsel of record, Randy S. Kester of Young Kester, Black and Jube, for cause of action against the defendant, complains and alleges as follows. Plaintiff is a resident of Utah, and was so during the time in which the defendant's tortious conduct. What? Tortious? Is that a word? Tortious conduct occurred as hereinafter alleged and set forth. Defendant is currently a resident of the state of Utah and was so... The defendant's tortious... I've never heard this word before. Tortious conduct occurred in Washington County, state of Utah. Does it mean torturous? Is that what it means? The court has jurisdiction over the parties and... Hang on, I'll zoom it up a bit more. Oh, yep. The court has jurisdiction over the parties and subject matter of this action and proper venue in this court. Yep. The plaintiff is the father of 4 minor children, blah, blah, blah. While plaintiff was residing in Utah County beginning on or about May 22, 2023, in collaboration with plaintiff's then ex-wife, Ruby Frankie, plaintiff's ex-wife, then wife, Ruby Frankie, also mother of these 4 children, moved the 4 minor children to defendant's home in Ivins, Utah. Neither defendant nor Ruby Frankie advised plaintiff of their removal of the children from the family home in Springville. From the period of time, May 22 through August 30, while at the defendant's home, defendant did intentionally and or recklessly and or negligently wrongfully detain plaintiff's 2 children. Yeah, we know all this. Yeah, defendant committed physical torture. Yes, we know. We know all this stuff. We don't want to go over all the nasty stuff she did. His actions caused severe emotional harm to RF and convinced him that he was evil and possessed. He needed to be willingly be obedient and avoid punishments. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, 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 yes. So how are you, Kevin? How are you claiming that you deserve some sort of compensation for this? The intentional and or negligent acts of the defendant have completely damaged and or altered for worse Kevin's marriage. The children's mother is in prison, and all of his children's individual psyches, personalities, and behaviors, essentially dismantling and exploding his family and his personal life. The consequences of defendant's intentional and or negligent acts were foreseeable as to the effect on these children, and to the effect on their father and the plaintiffs herein. Based thereon, Kevin, for causes of action, alleges as follows. First cause of action, intentional infliction of emotional distress. Plaintiff hereby incorporates, as though fully set forth herein, all other paragraphs of the complaint. Defendant engaged in severe and intolerable conduct. Yeah, I know. Negligent infliction of emotional distress. Third cause of action, negligence. Plaintiff demands a jury on all issues in this matter that are triable by jury. Prayer for relief, whereby plaintiff prays for judgment against defendant as follows. For past, present, and future special damages, for past, present, and future pain and suffering, for all past and present future losses and harms of all other general damages are justified under the cause of action, for exemplary punitive damages as might be determined at trial, for pre-judgment and post-judgment interest, costs and attorney fees, and any and all such further relief as to the court seem just and equitable. Okay, so hey, hell yeah. Thank you, Benjamin Gray, for being a member for 3 months. Wow, that's been a long time. Thank you for that. Much appreciated. It's been great having you, and I hope that you continue to be a member. It's lovely having you around. Gabrielle, I consider all religion to be a cult regardless of their outward-facing claims. Okay, so in the first cause of action regarding the emotional distress, the complaint alleges in part. Oh, we've read all this. So, hang on, we'll see if we can hear this.
We just got some of this information into our newsroom within the last few hours. So let's go in depth now with new developments in the Ruby Frankie, Jody Hildebrandt child abuse case.
Can you hear it?
Ruby Frankie's husband filed a new complaint, part of a lawsuit against Jody Hildebrandt today. This is that document. Kevin Frankie has been actively trying to get custody of 4 of their children, including the 2 that were being held in Ivins at Jody Hildebrandt's home. Now today, through his attorney, Randy Kester, Kevin filed a lawsuit against Jody Hildebrandt, which says it's based on the effects that her actions had on the children and on Kevin. Now, before we move forward, I didn't get to do this at 5 o'clock. So I want to read part of the complaint that's pretty interesting. It says, towards the
Nice
bottom
pink
of the
handkerchief.
basis of facts and general allegations, the children's personalities, emotions, and psyches were so damaged and altered that it was beyond the father's capability to restore them without professional intervention of state's resources through the juvenile court. They go on
No,
to
he's
talk
just
about the
reading
needs.
it. I wanted, hang on. Frankie is seeking judgment on special damages, past, present, and future, along with pain and suffering. Yeah, okay. All right. So, no one's commenting. All right. So, what, guys, what do you think? Hey, Melissa. How's it going? What do you think? I think that this is like, whilst he's trying to get money, he's trying to get custody of the children, etc. I think there's something more at play here. I think that he is trying to deflect blame and make it look like he's the good guy. He didn't do anything, and there's no culpability for him at all, because I think especially since this last evidence drop, this last lot of exhibits dropped, he's starting to look a lot more culpable. And people are asking a lot of questions about him and about his involvement, or his lack of, or his apathy, I guess. His negligence. His negligence when it comes to caring for his children in this situation. Right? So a lot of people are saying he should have been charged. A lot of people are saying he should have been charged, at least for negligence. Right? And so him suing her, I think it's not just about money. I don't think it's just about custody. I think it's about his reputation, and it's about trying to avoid any culpability. That's my opinion. Online Red, what do you think? I think Jody also took a lot of their money, and that they gave up. Think that they gave up as members of her dumb cult, and he wants it back. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. ODS don't care. If you go against them, basically a trash. Yeah, it is sus. It's very sus. I'd be happy if any of the other dads were suing instead of him. Yes. Remember last week when we were looking at that dad who they made out to be a pedophile? Remember when we were looking at him? I can't remember his name, but we looked at him. He put a big post out on Facebook, and then he was interviewed by Mormon Stories, and he's come out and written this giant long story about how he was basically outed by connections, and he never did anything, but he was told that he was put forth to the community as a pedophile, and everyone believed it, of course, and the people high up in the church all named him as such, and his whole life was ruined. His marriage was ruined. He was ostracized, and this happened, and he obviously this would just ruin him as a person, and you can just see in his face that he's devastated, and he's tried to rebuild his life, but he's one of many. Like, he's one of many men who were made to feel like just that their actions were disgusting and wrong and things like that. I mean, I don't know how many of them were told that they were pedophiles, but just any sort of behavior, sort of sexual behavior, is all wrong. Kids were brought up to be told that they couldn't have any sexual desires and things like that. So many people have had their lives ruined by connections, and not just connections, a lot of these offshoots of LDS. So yeah, if any other dads like him, like that guy, were suing, sure. But Kevin Frankie, yeah. Yeah, it's so sad. It's so sad, Gabrielle. You know what's really sad is that there are hundreds of people in the US that would do anything to be able to have a child, and they can't have one. But people like them have 7 of them and treat them like that. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Divorce is messy in the USA. In reality, he could be forced to support Ruby regardless of the criminal charges against the kids. Those systems are very separate in the USA. Isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting? All right. I've been streaming for 2.5 hours. That was really went like that. I didn't boom it too much. You know what's so weird? It's like YouTube showing 16 people. My Twitter is showing that there's 100 and goddamn how many people. I've got no idea. Rumble showing I've got 25 people. Oh, hey, I'm bronzed. I boomed a tad. Yeah, I know. I'm a trooper. Hey, I'm bronzed. I've got no idea. My Streamyard is showing I have 177 people watching. I don't think I have 177 people watching, but I've got no clue where people are, whether they're watching. I know only a few people are chatting, but people, if you're out there, hi. Twitter people, if you actually are real, hi. And it'd be really nice if next time you come over to YouTube, because that's where people are chatting. Hi, Twitter people, if you're real. I'll go and have a look at my Twitter analytics later and see if you're real people. Last time there were people watching on Twitter. Most of them were real people who were actually like followers of mine. So maybe you're real. I don't know, but I don't know whether you just like are scrolling or what. But it's held up. Like the 100 and something people have held up the whole time. So I just don't know. Although YouTube, apparently weird numbers are going on YouTube. I don't know. So it's weird. Regardless, it doesn't really matter to me. I've really enjoyed having you guys here. Been here the whole time listening. Oh, thank you. Nice. Oh, Dina, you didn't have to do that. Thanks for the super chat. It's really sweet of you. You're my bestie. You're my bestie over in Ohio. Love ya. Love you, love you, love ya. Thanks for the super chat, $9.99. You are a legend. Sorry I'm bronzed. Oh, my hair looks good. Thanks. Sorry I'm bronzed. You missed all the Aussie stuff. You'll have to go back and watch it, but I know you do go back and watch stuff. That's very nice of you. Great stream. Lots of good topics. You're great even off alone. Thank you. I'm trying to be more independent. Even though I love having Dali with me, I need to sort of, both of us, we need to be put our big pants on and be able to do this stuff. Just, you never know. One of us might be hit by a bus one day. So thank you. And we both need to be able to do this stuff. But yeah, obviously what I would like from these streams in future is to be able to have different people pop on and hang out. Dali, obviously, but whoever just pops along and come along and chat different topics with me. But yeah, I like to be able to just practice being able to talk to you guys independently, just whatever topics come up, be able to do it without having to do hours and hours and hours of making graphics and all that stuff that I do. Because you know me, I put so many hours into my streams, like putting them together, and it really is like, it's stressful. Like, it's really hard. It's really, really stressful. And like today, for example, I now need to go and put my Zachariah Anderson stream together. And it's gotten to a point now where there's so many of these things that I create all week that it's killing me. Like, and it's me, I do it to myself. I'm the one who sets this level of expectation on myself. And yeah, I've done it to me. But yeah, that Zach stream, the Scott Peterson stream, Hearsay for Days, the Murdoch one, they're all pretty and they're all like really researched, and I'm proud of them, but they take a ton of time to make. And so I need to be able to stream a little bit more freeform like this. Yeah. And I enjoy it. Like, I really enjoyed today. It was fun to be able to just go, and this and this and this. It's been fun. So yeah, I need to be more comfortable with being able to present in this way. And yeah, I'm a big time perfectionist. Yeah. So I need to just dial it down a little bit and be more confident to present in this style. And yeah, I'm actually okay with just talking. Like, I'm actually okay with just this. But I've enjoyed the last few weeks of just doing the members only streams. That's okay. It's when I'm talking about just like bringing up pages on the internet or YouTube streams and stuff like that, like today, and like talking about topics and not having my graphics and my research just done. That's when I get like, okay, this isn't good enough. So yeah, like, I can talk at you, but to say that I'm doing a stream about this and to not have it all perfect, that's when I'm like, this isn't good enough. So yeah, that, and I'll still do those chitty chat ones that sort of aimed more at members and just sort of talking about, you know, things that are on my mind. I'll still do those. Yeah, but yeah, it's just, Dali, you need to just do it. So the only reason I can do this is because I just went one day, I'm just going to do it. All right. So you just need to do it. Yeah. Because it's like, it's hard to just go and say, I'm not going to chitty chat with somebody. I'm going to talk to a dead screen. And I don't mean that, guys, that was a horrible way of putting it, because it's not dead, but it's like, it's hard to talk to a screen, like, and there's no one around to talk back at you, because you feel like you're a bit crazy just talking to a screen. But it's hard to make that decision to do it. But then here I am, it's been nearly 3 hours and I've been talking to a screen. Once you start, it's easier. But yeah, Dali needs to do it too, because you never know. Like, if he's not available and I'm not available, like Dali likes to stream earlier in the day than me, and earlier in the day for me is like my nighttime. So if he wants to stream like at lunchtime in US time, you know what time that is for me? That's like 3 a.m. So that's not possible. That's not possible. So I don't want him to feel like I locked into always streaming with me. And I like to stream, like, at the moment, it's nearly 10 p.m. for you guys. That's way past bedtime for Dali. So we need to be able to stream separately. And so therefore, you know, you have to grow up as streamers sometimes, you know. And yeah, but we'll always be co-hosts. Always. We are bestie co-hosts. Always, always, always. But this has been fun, guys. Thank you for hanging out with me. I really, really appreciate it. Really, really appreciate it. Just know that you're both far more conscious of being alone than we are. Yeah, I know. It's like when you watch a streamer who's on their own, you don't think about the fact that they're just talking to a computer screen. But when you're the one doing it, you're much more conscious of it. Online red. You might be able to convince me to co-host sometime. Oh, I asked you, Dina. I said to you, come on stream with me. I remember who asked you first. Me. Remember who asked you first? So I get first dibs. Right, Serif, right? We asked Dina first. She's ours. Yes. Do it. Serif approves. Yeah, Helly gets dibs. Yep. Dina's mine. She mine. Don't you try and steal her, Dali. I'm onto you. Look at my eyes. All right. That's it. Sorry. Who's on? Who's on? Honestly, my YouTube is just messy right now. Oh, okay. Of course Sean's streaming. When's he not streaming? Is he ever not streaming? Dina, is there like do you have like little slots of the day when you get to talk to Sean? Just like, hey, I just catch you before you in between streaming. Oh, MLS and Solomon, 45 minutes. Yeah, I know, but I don't want to have you hanging all around for 45 minutes. I feel like Sean's been streaming since this morning. He probably has. Dali, no. All right. I don't know how many of you are here because I can't tell real numbers. It says I've got 180 people in StreamYard. That's not true. If I do, you're not all on YouTube. I know that. You're all somewhere else. Oh, dear. I'm really interested to see how I don't care. Like I'm happy to stream to 2 people. I think it's lovely to have just however many people are here. If there's one person here, it's like, thank you for being here. But regardless, I'm just really interested to see what the analytics show after this because I think the numbers have gone all screwy today. I think today's a really, really weird, screwy day in YouTube Numberville. Anyway, so I'm just going to redirect to Sean anyway. Although it is weird when you start streaming to different locations, like I've got 5 locations streaming right now. I just can't tell what the hell's going on anymore. Okay, yeah, we redirected to Sean. Had our first cool night here. Oh, it is getting cool, isn't it? It would be getting cooler for you, right? Getting cooler, isn't it, Seraph? Yes, cuddles are good. We don't need bells or whistles, just happy to hang out. Oh, it's nice, Melissa. See? Okay, time to end up. I'm going to go work on Zach's stream. Make sure you're here tomorrow night for 6:30 p.m. for Zach's stream. Make sure. And you know what? I'll do a little Zachariah Anderson ending thing. And I'll see you over in Sean's chat. And I love you all. Thank you for hanging out. Mwah. Say mwah. Bye, guys.